Good night. My name is Moses Sandoval, and I am a teacher who is working with special education during the last years, and now working in my master in information. As part of this course, I am making a research, and in this case, the research is about autism and persuasive technologies. So basically, it's how the persuasive technology has been using with the autistic population, and what is the most important consideration we have to do in this way, and what is the success for the current apps, or what is the technology we have available to use persuasive technology to help students with autism. Starting to talk with autism, the autism is a spectrum disorder to include several symptoms. So people with this kind of symptom need to get 2 or 3 or 4 of them to classify to be autistic. So the most important is basically a severe impairment social skills. So they do not under the conventions. They are normally learner persons. They are not really reacting by the pressure of other people. That is really important because several of the persuasive technologies are based on this social communication, the feedback, the interaction. They don't have these kind of situations. Another situation autistic present is they have a really hard verbal impairment. We're talking about speech, so they cannot talking, they cannot express themselves, they cannot say, they don't have the ability to say something they thinking. And sometimes this became frustrating for them, and is the cause of the meltdown in most of them. The third very big process is several autism have a typical movement. Some of them have hyperactivity. Most of them also have another concomitant mental disorder like a hyperactivity disease or depression and other kind of mental disorders. In addition, some of them also have gastrointestinal problems, and many of them also have change in the mood very fast. So it's a big spectrum disorder. You can get diagnosed by a doctor, or you can get diagnosed through the school licensed psychologists through the special education programs. But today we say that we are facing 1 of 44 people in the schools. So technically in the United States, they probably thinking we are 2.5 autistic person today, what this mean around to 1 million people who will have autism, 1 million people adult people in this country have. So we have a big market there where we can create new designs and new apps and try to helping them to be better. Continue with the questions. How the persuasive technology can be used autism in different way. The persuasive technology are oriented to improve the socialization of them, improve the change behavior, and that's probably what is the most important interventions we're doing in autism, trying to change behavior, trying to make more social, try to then communicate, try to they say stuff, try to they improve their living skills. So many of the persuasion technologies and show that they probably have a really good option to be well in statistics. However, the way the researchers are conducting is really hard. It's really hard because the researcher has to be so creative in the way they collect the information. As you know, they cannot communicate. Most of them don't say. They cannot talk. Most of them don't understand. Most of them they are not really sensible to the social environment. So we have to try and find to see how we can collect evidence that they are really using the system, that are really reacting to the motivators, to the triggers, and in addition, they have the ability to respond to all this kind of stuff. Continue with that one. We can say there is a lot of apps today. Some of these apps are oriented to help the students in different way. Probably the most common is the apps to helping with executive functioning systems. Basically, is they helping them to create timer schedules to allow them to create specific schedules during the day, time by time. One of the most important problems with autism is they are not really sensible to the transitions, to the changes. So when you have a schedule, you change something in the schedule, they get a meltdown, a behavior issue. So the best way is giving an app to show them the schedule, to promote them, so they probably have the option to tailor in this schedule in this way, simplify the way they get specific goals in this schedule, simplify the way they get the imaginers to communicate in these schedules is really helping for them. Gaming option is something they try to use in autistic. They are not really good success in most of them because they are not really into the pressure like all normal people then. Other groups of apps are robots. Many people are working creating robots because you can tailor a robot to only express 2 or 3 conventions, so they can face only 2 or 3 expressions they have to deal with. So in this way, the robots asking them to looking them all the time, so we can helping them to improve the eye contact vision. But they also teaching them like when you want to say yes, move your head up and down, or size to size to say no. This kind of really intervention to helping a lot of autistic. In addition, the relation with the robot, since is almost all the time the same expression, helping them to get confidence. So that is crucial when we try to introduce new persuasive technologies or new technologies to the autistic students. Another kind of app we can use is to social conventions. There is some studios presenting scenarios. So in these scenarios, the autistic students see one specific situation and they asking them how you want to react. So they teaching them how to react, how these people around there are reacting when something happened. One basic example is somebody's in the table laughing and they start to cry, and they don't know why he have to laugh, why to cry, because they do not understand what is going on. So this kind of scenarios helping them to understand how we working, how the normal people working, when they talking, when they laughing, when they expressing different kind of stuff. Something important with autistic people, they do not understand the figurative language. It's really hard for them to understand this slogan, this kind of way to say the stuff in second way. They don't understand that one. So we have to be really specific with them. And when you give an instruction to them, it has to be really breaking down in one specific. For example, if you say an autistic, you're gonna work in here for 3 to 5 in this place, probably it's not enough for them. They need more. They need to know what happened for 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 12, looking this way. They need to get this breakdown because they cannot afford like a normal people that situation. There is a lot of groups of apps to try to do social pressure. So all of these apps are trying to do gaming. And however, the results in these areas is a little complicated because, the main problem with autistic is the social interactions. So the social interaction have to be built before we go to this place. We can use a lot of apps. We can use a lot of persuasion technology in helping them to change some behaviors, in trying to helping them to create a schedule, to improve the verbal communication and the non-verbal communication. The new apps have the new system that they show pictures and relate this picture one specific activity and provide tokens and provide reward, intrinsic rewards and extrinsic reward to helping them to move in this way. So these apps are also working. Most of these are available in apps. Some of them are available in the websites, and the instruction are using. Something so important we have to do when we're working with autistic students is we have to create a confidence. We have to be in a structured environment that always is the same. In this way, they start to create confidence, they reduce the meltdowns, and they can build and they can use the programs and enjoy and probably use it in a better way. But if there is no this confidence, if there is no this structure, they are not going to do nothing. So that's probably one of the most important findings in the studies with Hans in 2003. They see that the groups of the teachers to really working hard with them to create a confidence and a close relation, they move forward, they get changes in the behavior after you use the technology. The other groups, when they don't build this relation, they get nothing. So in conclusion, we said the autistic population is a big market, it's growing, it's a lot of people around to really need a lot of help. Technology has been said, they really is a good opportunity to working with them. They also have some negative issues. For example, they also found that when the autistic people is using a lot of screen, the meltdowns start to becoming worse. In addition, when they start to using a lot of the app, they show regression in the communication abilities and some social abilities. So they becoming more loner than before. So we have to be careful in this way when we try to use or design app for autistic to introduce some elements to limit the time they are facing screening and other kind of devices. So in conclusion, it's a good area. We have to continue working. Researchers have to be creative to create ways to collect information to really be extrapolated to other groups. It's really hard, as I told you before, because it's a social disease. It's a social disorder, the communication disorder, and the way we get communication is a little more tricky. Finally, I will say this class was very good for me. The first class I take in this master, I learned a lot in different areas. I learned that with the technology and the design of technology is something that just the people got it. No, you have to study, you have to use the technology, you have to read all these theories and start to using it, and you probably have more chance to make better app for all the designs you want to do in the future. Thank you very much.